Hello everybody. I hope you're having a great day. Today I will lead you through the build process of the second quadcopter my dad is going to put together. He surely had a lot of fun doing all this, and it's obvious he's enjoying it to the fullest. We truly hope you will enjoy watching this video. I will leave you to watch this in peace without any comments for now. But around 5 minutes and 56 seconds into this video, I will help my dad with the voiceovers and comment some of his quadcopter build process. Keep watching for more good stuff. Enjoy! Okay. Now my dad knows exactly what he has to do here. This is a T-Motor VELOX V50A. And this is the order of the wires. Minus, plus, motor 1, 2, 3, and 4, current, telemetry, and here it is, TX and RX. Blue wire and yellow wire is for current. We should be careful about proper order of motor wires, white wires in our case. Red is plus, and the black wire is minus/ground. This is an original cable from T-Motor ESC, and this is the wiring order. For rewiring purposes, we can reorder the other end and plug those wires accordingly into the supplied connector. No soldering needed, simple plug and play. Way easier, even though soldering is not a problem, and it's always fun. And this is the cable we get inside the box with Rushblade F722 digital flight controller. Wiring order is different, but it's good to have it. My dad can figure out even easier which wire from flight controller to connect into which hole. Layout is slightly different. First we have motor 4, 3, 2, and 1, all these black wires. And then blue wire for telemetry. Here is the RX and then TX. Current, yellow wire, and then we have red wire for the battery and the black wire for the ground. Any of these two. There are additional red and black wires, which we won't use. My dad will go with T-Motor's cable, connect these wires to the supplied Molex and use the wiring scheme from the Rushblade cable. He is about to start plugging those wires and paying attention to the connector orientation. Small set of holes should be at the top. Just follow the wiring scheme from the Rushblade connector. Remember? We said it's good to have this. Motor 4 is third wire from the bottom. So the very first white wire after the blue and yellow wires. That wire will connect to the very first hole inside the Molex connector. Pay attention to the small locking tab. Once the wire is connected correctly, we should hear a click sound. Success. Motor 4. First wire is installed. Motor 3. That's this next wire up in line. Motor 3 wire should connect right next to the motor 4 wire. We should be careful about plugging this wire into the next available hole and wait for the click. This one clicked too. Next one is the motor 2 wire. This one clicked as well. Finally, the last motor wire, motor 1. The last white wire. We've got the clicking sound with this one too. Okay, now we have all 4 motor wires connected. Those are the black wires from the original Rushblade supplied cable. Remember, we're only following the wire order, not the color codes. The next wire we have to connect is the blue one, RX wire. The blue one that's coming from this end is TX, telemetry. Okay, now he's about to connect that blue wire. Click sound again. It is a good practice to wiggle those wires gently, just to see if they're secured inside. Locking tab is there to stop that from happening. That was telemetry, TX to RX. The next one is yellow wire, current. Click sound one more time. We can already see these two are becoming pretty similar, except instead of those black wires, we have white ones. Blue and yellow ones are the same. Wiring order is identical. Now, he has to connect one red and one black. Red is live, positive, and the black is ground. Red one on T-Motor VELOX marked as plus. On the Rushblade is marked as battery. Black wires are ground. Any one of these two. My dad just wants to double check. This is the diagram he laid out the other day and sent to T-Motor so their engineers can take a look and tell him if he was correct. Diagram shows the way my dad believes this ESC to FC connector cable should be rewired. Bingo, all was correct. T-Motor engineers confirmed it the same evening. Note, he is not using the ESC/FC combo this time. He's using different manufacturers' components. T-Motor ESC and Rushblade FC. In many cases, connectors should be rewired, which he is doing right now. We should use the green line, which is RX on Rushblade ESC. To telemetry on T-Motor VELOX, engineers confirmed my dad was correct. You should have seen it. They made his day. Red diagram line, 5 volts, and the black one, ground, is not being used now, and neither is that blue TX line. Red one should sit next by the yellow wire. We'll use that one. It clicked. They connect quite easy. We should never force anything, and these tweezers can easily cut through those tiny wires, which we of course don't want. He is being quite careful. Ground. It can be any of these last 2 holes, but we will use the middle one. Clicked. All this should be properly connected now. My dad will use wi-Fi short saver between the battery and the quadcopter for the initial plugging in and setup. Better safe than sorry. We've received all the other connectors and cables, which we will use later. Some for connecting Vista digital system, some for GPS and compass, LEDs once we have them, and this one if for Crossfire or any other protocol we're using. My dad went with TBS Crossfire Nano RX for the third time. Dad likes to put a heat shrink on capacitors. He's carefully and patiently stretching the heat shrink so it can go around the capacitor without any problems. I think it looks quite good. It won't budge. Super. He's just thinking what's the best thing to do with the position of the capacitor. It is little oversized one, but there should be some room next to the Vista unit. There is nothing more that screams professional than when my dad uses a splinter to spread that flux around the connection pads. He did not have a small brush handy, so he used whatever he's found around him. Props to him for finding a solution so quickly. The good thing is, he did not use a shovel. Lol. Okay, ESC, XT60, capacitor, Vista unit installed, but he still needs to solder the wires from the flight controller to it. He always likes to make sure everything fits nicely inside before making final soldering. Everything seems in good order and ready for the final assembly day. He just wants to put that FC on the top of the stack to see how it looks like. Everything slowly starts to look like the finished product. You should see the excitement on my dad's face. Connector from ESC, the one that my dad just rewired, should connect right here into the flight controller. My dad just realized it would be better if he installed Crossfire first. It would be way easier to route the cable. For now, it's okay. But once he removes Vista unit for soldering, he will definitely reroute the Crossfire cable. Okay, he is about to connect TBS Crossfire receiver. All 4 wires are soldered now. This is the cable that goes into the DJI Air unit. The other end of the connector is not fully compatible with Vista. He will cut it in half, keep the connector that connects into the flight controller, and rewire the other side of the cable, the one that connects into the Vista unit. He will also need to remove 2 wires. S-bus and 1 ground are not needed for Vista. Tomorrow, my dad will connect Vista unit. For now, all looks great. GPS will be connected here once my dad receives his next shipment. This connection is for Crossfire. He won't install the heat shrink just yet. Another great feature of this controller, we can pick which one we need, 3.3 volts or 5 volts connection. Since Crossfire requires 5 volts, my dad needs to bridge the middle pad with the one on the right hand side, which is 5 volts. All 3 pads should never be connected in the same time, either the left one for 3.3 volts with the middle one, or the right one for 5 volts and the middle pad. Bridging this is required in order for Crossfire to work with this flight controller. This time, my dad mounted Vista unit as a soft mount. He did not want to use M2 metal screws, which are adding to the overall weight of the drone, and of course add more unnecessary vibrations to the unit. He installed Vista on top of the double dual-side adhesive tape, which holds Vista in place like nothing else, plus cushions all the vibrations. He also used a couple of thin zip ties to secure everything in place even better. He also used Kapton tape to isolate the XT60 cables, and even though cables itself are made to endure up to 200 Celsius degrees, in this configuration, cables are still touching Vista, which can get pretty hot at times. Kapton tape can hold up to 260 Celsius degrees, and it does not add any significant weight to the overall weight of the drone. XT60 cables will run above Vista and will be secured with zip ties. Okay, it looks like soldering is finally done. Everything is connected. Dad didn't like how he ran Crossfire cable originally, so he relocated it to a much better location. It wasn't that big of a problem, since it was running under the bottom carbon plate, and that one is in dent. There is another bottom plate in this frame which protected it enough, but he wanted it to be perfect, so he moved it under Vista unit and up to the top of the flight controller. Double-side sticky tape will hold that tiny Nano receiver just fine. Pity. There is so much available room inside the camera cage. He could install a receiver there, but he installed a Mortal T antenna at the back of the quad this time, so cable is still not reaching the camera cage. Still, all good. ESC, flight controller. Everything is connected properly. Crossfire is connected, Vista is soldered and connected to the FC, XT60 battery lead and capacitor connected, all 4 motors connected. That should do it. Dad loves this 𝘕𝘠 RC frame more and more. This TPU is made for all kinds of antennas, but it can be reused for so many other things. Like for example, XT60 battery lead, we can lodge these cables inside and this TPU will hold them just fine. Of course, he'll secure them with unavoidable zip ties too, like always. Here we can see battery lead looks even shorter, less vibrations in flight, as well as less possibility to get cut off or damaged by broken propellers in a crash. Yes, these things do happen. My dad did everything correctly, but he forgot to install Vista antenna. Not really a big deal. He'll need 5 more minutes to fix this problem. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it.